The most popular question I get is, what's the best dating site or dating app? Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Match, OkCupid. Where can I go to meet quality men? I'm going to answer that in a moment definitively, but first I'm going to explain that which site you're on doesn't matter nearly as much as what you do when you get to that site. Stick around. I'm Evan Mark Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women and your personal trainer for love. Welcome to the Love You podcast. Keep listening to discover the #1 dating site or app that's going to help you meet a smart, strong, successful man. When we're done, I'll let you know how you could apply to Love You to create a passionate relationship that makes you feel safe, heard, and understood. I've been doing this online dating thing forever. I wrote a book about online dating 2003 called I Can't Believe I'm Buying This Book, A Common Sense Guide to Successful Internet Dating. I created a program in 2008 called Finding the One Online. I gave a TED Talk, which I'll link to in the notes below, called No More Bad Dates. That speaks very specifically about a methodology for dating online. So believe me, if anybody has his finger on the pulse of this, it would be me. As much as a man who's been married for 12 years can have his finger on the pulse of dating apps. So the biggest thing I want you to take away from, without having to go and research all those things, is that in the TED Talk, I use a metaphor, and I've used it here before, that dating sites are just like gyms. And it doesn't matter whether you go to LA Fitness or 24-Hour Fitness or Crunch or Equinox. I don't even know if Crunch is even around. But really, some gyms might have juice bars and towel service, but all of them have the necessary equipment for you to work hard and burn calories. So instead of obsessing about which gym you're going to lose the most weight at, how about figuring out how to get the most out of your time at the gym? In other words, dating sites and apps, they're just boxes filled with people. And if you're a smart, strong, successful woman, 90% of those people, no matter which site you're on, are definitely not going to be your husband. So given that, the trick is in figuring out how to connect with the top 10% of men on any site. No matter which site you go to, since you're coming here looking for advice about where to go, volume is everything, right? Not for volume's sake, right? Just you need a deeper pool of men. You don't want to use up a site in a month. So it may sound great to be on some niche site for vegans or long distance runners, but the truth is there usually aren't enough people in your area to justify an active membership. Right? You're just going to use up the site too fast. But if you're in this for the long haul, not that you want to date online forever, but if you're committed to finding love and you're dating with the intention of having a relationship, let me run down your top options. And I took the time. I never really do research. I just speak from largely the cuff. I actually went into my Love You group and I asked the women who are in my cohort, these are smart, strong, successful women, 30 to 60 generally, for their opinions. And here's what they had to share with me as well. So let's start with Tinder. Tinder's like the OG swiping site. Right? Short profiles, no detail. It's kind of like a slot machine, which has its merits if you like dopamine spikes and always feel like you're kind of dating but not really thinking about it. And so it spits out a lot of hot guys, and the result is that you always feel like something is going on because there's no shortage of men that you're matching with, right? But the downside is that you don't really know anything about anyone, which makes having a good conversation on Tinder somewhat challenging, and it also opens up the world to having a lot of things that don't pan out, a lot of flaky guys who might have swiped right but don't follow through with a text. And so this is just a pure volume approach. If eHarmony is filling out a 436 question personality test to get matches, Tinder is the complete opposite of that. Right? And I think it's really male friendly, but it's not as good for women unless that you think that choosing men based on looks alone is a good formula for marriage. So chances are you end up swiping on only the most obvious choices, the ones that everybody on the entire site also sees. And you probably end up passing up some decent guys who aren't as impressive up front, right, as if you actually took the opportunity to meet them in person. So Tinder is great for volume, but not much else in my opinion. Bumble is a free dating app that functions like Tinder, but women have to initiate contact. So that is a good idea in that it weeds the riffraff out. You're not going to get hundreds of things from guys you don't want. You're only initiating contact with guys that you're theoretically open to talking to. If the guy doesn't message back within 24 hours, he loses the potential date. And if you don't want to read profiles, like you like the Tinder approach, but Tinder could be kind of icky and overwhelming, you want to have a little more control, you go on Bumble, but Bumble still doesn't really give you much depth, right? If you don't want to read a profile, if you don't want to write an email, Bumble's perfect for you. But the problem is, and I hate to talk shit about dating apps, any medium that gives you less information about a potential partner is going to be inferior to a medium that gives you more information about a partner. Yet, some of the women in Love You really like Bumble, and here's what they have to say. Sarah, a Love You member, says, I liked Bumble. I felt like I was more in control of who was contacting me. Penny says, the woman approaching man dynamic seems to result in a self-selecting group of more desirable men. So if we're going down the list, put Bumble above Tinder for our purposes. Next is Match. Now, I put all my clients on Match because I'm not a dating app guy, even though people, very bright, reasonable people, are going to disagree with me on this one and choose to use dating apps. So if you have to use a dating app, we'll talk about the one that you should use in just a second. But I don't put people on Match because it's the youngest or the coolest or the best user interface. It's a big brand name. It's like a mall. It has everything. They own Tinder. They own OkCupid. They own Plenty of Fish. But they cater to singles who are looking in love, and they cost money. And that's a barrier to entry for people who are more serious than people who are not more serious. Says Love You graduate CC. Match seems to have a wide range of mature profiles, more information and pictures available. Paid for accountability makes me feel safer to know that. Match's match algorithms seem to be pretty close in matching personality and interests. They have a reverse match feature which shows you which people are interested in you. So you're not going to be looking at men who are not open to women your age, for example. It's a feature I make all my clients use. It seems easier to identify scammer and fake accounts on them. Love You graduate Mel says, there's more people, there's more thorough profile write-ups, and guys seem to be more invested and serious about relationships. So I understand if you've been burned down on Match. I'm not pushing really hard. I put all my clients there as a place to start. Next, in that category of conventional online dating sites, there's OkCupid. Right? OkCupid is also owned by Match. They bought them X number of years back. And the profiles are also more in-depth than a conventional swipe app, right? Because it has a series of long personality quiz type questions. And recently, OkCupid reshaped itself to be more app-like because it's essentially competing against itself. And it's focused more on swiping and eliminating the ability to message a user without matching someone first. So you can still send a message on OkCupid, but it won't show up in their inbox unless you match with that person, right? Which may not be ideal for you. So the idea was to do what Bumble does and lower the number of offensive messages you get, right? By saying, hey, you'll only get, that message is only going to get to the inbox if you match. But then you're going to spend some time writing emails to people who never even see your messages. So Love You member Barbara likes OkCupid. She says, it's where I met my current boyfriend. I also have several friends in long-term relationships from there. It was the most fun for me in terms of all the questions and flexibility to build the profile. Finally, again, I know I'm going really fast, but I don't want to make you watch a monster video here. Hinge. But it designed the app to make user profiles more engaging than the sites like Tinder. You have the option of displaying more useful information that could be deal breakers, political leanings, religion, alcohol consumption, interest in having children. Right? Hinge's slogan is that it's designed to be deleted. So they purport to be an app that cares about you having a relationship. And this is probably the one that the most Love You members recommended as a means of supplementing the conventional Match profile. Love You member Charlene says, lots of guys around my age, college educated, could write in full sentences and generally more relationship oriented. Love You member Jessie agrees that she found a greater selection of men her age, as well as men who were more intelligent, confident, and communicative, but also adds that she would like 48 hours instead of 24 hours to respond to messages. There's also not enough room in text boxes. And so if you want to write something a little more substantive, it's not ideal. Love You member Sam says, to even have a profile on there, you have to pick from the already existing cool, fun, interesting templates that are incorporated within the app, and they have great conversation openers that even boring people can find something to say. Love You member Kat says, Hinge is the only app I actually enjoy using and have had the most success with, meaning matches that turned into dates. She pays for premium so she could see everyone who's already liked her, and she takes her time picking who she wants to match with. She hates swiping and having to make quick decisions. So guys can send one message with their like, but they can't chat further until we both match. I feel like the quality of men is higher, they're mostly relationship oriented, and they put greater effort into their profiles. So, to you, according to my clients, smart, strong, successful women between the ages of 30 and 60, Hinge is the best dating app because it provides the most information and is most like a conventional online dating site. I still recommend Match and OkCupid because they are conventional dating sites with profiles and the ability to write emails instead of going straight to texting, and that creates better conversation and connection prior to meeting someone in person. And I'm also well aware that there's plenty of decent people on Bumble and Tinder. I personally don't like the swipe text instant gratification nature of the medium. If you think that men are shallow and don't put in much effort in falling in love, then why spend all your time in a site that's built for people's most shallow impulses that are based on looks as opposed to depth? Ultimately, this is up to you. But as I said before, the most important thing is not which site you're on. There's people everywhere. There's good people everywhere. It's what you do when you're there. It's how you market yourself. It's how you make a connection. It's how you flirt. It's how you screen men prior to going on a first date. That's what I teach in month 2 of Love You. I look forward to talking to you and seeing you there. I'm Evan Mark Katz. Thank you for tuning into the Love You podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button, ring the bell, and choose all to ensure you get notified whenever new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple. More reviews equals more awareness of the Love You podcast and more love in the world. And if you want to find love right now and you're committed to making healthier choices with men, look for the link below and apply for coaching in Love You. I'll talk to you soon.